Okay. In last class, I think we have discussed the acceleration of the body moving along the circular path. Acceleration of a body moving along the circular path. Okay. So what is the formula we got? Acceleration A is equal to acceleration A bar is equal to we got acceleration of a body. Acceleration of a body moving in a horizontal circular path. In a horizontal circular path. Okay. Already I derived the formula for this in last class. So that acceleration A bar is equal to, I think we got acceleration A bar is equal to minus R omega square into cos omega t into I cap plus sin omega t into j cap I got plus R alpha into minus sin theta I cap plus cos theta j cap. I think we got this one. Okay, from this, here you see, here R alpha is, suppose here it is the body traveling along the circular path. Here it is the radius vector R bar. Okay, already we know the radius here, whenever the body is here, I think we imagine the diagram like this. So it is the center of the circular path, and whenever the body is here, it is the position of the radius vector, which makes an angle theta with horizontal. Theta is equal to omega t, because when the body travel for t seconds with angular velocity omega, then angular displacement is equal to theta is equal to omega t, we can write, no? So whenever the body lies at this point, then the radius vector with respect to center O is equal to r cos theta into I cap, because the magnitude of this one is r. R cos theta into I cap is the x component, r cos theta into I cap plus r sin theta into j cap. Okay, here also instead of omega t, we can write theta like this. We can write theta also. Theta is equal to omega t, of course, here. Theta is equal to omega t. Here we can write theta like this. Okay, you see here, this is the minus r omega square cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. Cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap means, you see, r of cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. This is the vector lies along radius vector, means in this direction. But minus is there. Minus of cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap means this is the component of this vector. This is the component of this acceleration vector that is opposite to this radius vector, no? Opposite to radius vector means that is the centripetal acceleration, AC bar. That means this is the component of total acceleration of the body moving along the horizontal circular path, acts on the body towards center. Any acceleration possessed by the body moving along the circular path which acts towards the center, that is called centripetal acceleration. So from the diagram, centripetal acceleration, that is also called as the normal acceleration, or it is also called as the radial acceleration. All are same, radial acceleration, that is AC. AC bar is equal to this one, or magnitude of AC is equal to, because centri means towards center. Centripetal itself represents the towards center, the acceleration component. That acceleration AC is equal to towards center, which is equal to r omega square. Again, we need not write minus sign, because this is the acceleration component. Because of minus sign, as it is acting towards the center, it is called centripetal acceleration. So when you mention centripetal acceleration, we need not mention again minus sign. Okay, that centripetal represents towards the center. That acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. Next, here, this is the another component of the acceleration of the body moving along the circular path in horizontal plane. Here, this vector is perpendicular to this r bar, no? You see, dot product between this vector component and this r bar, that means radius vector, you see, will get 0. That means this vector is perpendicular to this one. And moreover, x component negative, y component positive means definitely that vector lies along the tangential direction. That vector lies along the tangential direction. You see, their x component is negative, y component is positive. X component negative, y component positive. That's why this component of acceleration is along this direction. That is AT. Suppose if you get x component positive, x component positive, y component negative means, you see, that tangential acceleration is in this direction. In that case, x component positive, y component negative. But in this problem, x component negative, y component positive means the acceleration component is along tangential direction, but in this direction. So tangential acceleration, comma, AT is equal to, we got, what is the component here? R alpha. Of course, you write tangential acceleration AT bar is equal to, you write this one. Then you take modulus. Then you will get R alpha only, because this becomes 1. Here also, when you consider the magnitude, you will get R omega square only. That's why AT is equal to R into alpha. These are two important formulas. Here, where angular acceleration alpha means d omega by dt, no? Suppose if the body move along the circular path with constant angular velocity, when the body move along the circular path with constant angular velocity, then tangential acceleration is 0, because when the body move along the circular path with constant angular velocity, then angular acceleration becomes 0. Whenever angular acceleration becomes 0, tangential acceleration is 0. That means the body move with constant speed along the horizontal circular path. So when the angular acceleration is 0, that represents the body move with constant speed. That means along the tangential direction, as there is no acceleration, the body move with constant speed. Suppose at this point, if the speed of the body is v, at this point also speed of the body is v only. Here also speed of the body is v only. That does not change. That is the case. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is the tangential acceleration. Now, what is the resultant of these two? You see, centripetal acceleration in this direction, tangential acceleration in this direction. By taking these two accelerations as adjacent sides, you construct the parallelogram. Parallel to this one, you draw this line. Parallel to this one, you draw this line. So a parallelogram is constructed. The diagonal of the parallelogram gives resultant of these two accelerations, which is called the linear acceleration of the body. Linear acceleration of the body. So this is the centripetal acceleration. Okay, this is the tangential acceleration. The resultant of these two is called linear acceleration. Therefore, linear acceleration of the body moving along the horizontal circular path is linear acceleration comma a is equal to, as these two are perpendicular, then square root of ac square plus at square. This is equal to, of course, ac centripetal acceleration ac I have written in different forms also. We can write ac is equal to, of course, r omega square, and whenever the angular velocity of the rotating body in a horizontal circular path is omega, at that time speed v is equal to, we can write r omega, no? So instead of r omega, you can write r omega, 1 for 1, r into 1 omega, you write v into omega, v omega. R, instead of omega, you write v by r. Then v square by r square you will get. R square cancel, then v square by r. These all are the formulas for centripetal acceleration. These all are the formulas for centripetal acceleration. When the body move with uniform, when the body is moved with constant angular velocity, or when the body is in uniform circular motion, uniform circular motion means omega is constant. When the body is moving along the circular path with uniform constant angular velocity or constant angular velocity, or when the body is in uniform circular motion, that indicates the angular velocity remains constant. No doubt, as the body move along the circular path, radius of the circular path is also constant. If omega and r are constant, then v is constant. That's why here v is also constant. So in case of uniform circular motion, angular speed and linear speed both are constant. Whenever both are constant, then tangential acceleration at is equal to r alpha. Alpha is 0, no? Because alpha is the rate of change in angular velocity. As omega is constant, d by dt of constant omega, that means 0. That's why alpha is equal to 0. So here alpha is equal to 0 for this. So at is equal to 0 since alpha is equal to 0. Then centripetal, the linear acceleration a is equal to simply centripetal acceleration only in this case. Linear acceleration a is equal to centripetal acceleration only in this case. Okay. Next. So this is about the accelerations of the body. Angle made by linear acceleration with radius vector direction or with radius, that is say phi. From this diagram, tan phi is equal to, from this diagram tan phi, we can write tan phi is equal to opposite by adjacent. Opposite is equal to AT. Adjacent is equal to AC, we can write AT by AC. Of course, AT means we can write R alpha, AC means R omega square, we can write. AT means R alpha, AC means AC is equal to R omega square, we can write R omega square. That is equal to alpha by omega square. So by using this formula, the acceleration angle made by the linear acceleration of the body moving along the circular path with radius vector is equal to tan phi is equal to AT by AC or R by omega square, we can write. Sometimes they may ask, what is the resultant acceleration of the body moving along the horizontal circular path? Means we can write this one. AC, AT, these values will be given, or these values are given like this. R omega will be given, so AC is known. Alpha and R are given, AT is known. Then what is the resultant acceleration? Means we can find this one. So when the body moving along the horizontal circular path, the body has centripetal acceleration, tangential acceleration, angular acceleration. These are the different types of accelerations possessed by the body moving along circular path. Okay, right. Okay, Nana. Okay, I will go somewhat slow. Right. Next, centripetal force we have to find now. Centripetal force. So in these note points we have to discuss first. Later we'll discuss the centripetal force. Note points means equations of motion we have to discuss. Equations of motion. Equations of motion in uniform circular motion. Equations of motion of a body in uniform circular motion. In uniform circular motion. Equations of motion of a body in uniform circular motion. Very, very important. Okay. Suppose a body starts motion in a horizontal circular path of radius smaller. A body starts motion with angular velocity, initial angular velocity omega. After t seconds, as the body travels with a uniform angular acceleration alpha, after some time, suppose the body reaches the point here B, and it has covered an angular displacement of theta, and after t seconds, the angular velocity of the body becomes v. Then whatever the relation among them, they are the equations of motion. Okay, here we know according to the definition of the angular acceleration alpha, alpha is equal to, we can write d omega by dt, no? Angular acceleration alpha is equal to d omega by dt. Here the body travel with uniform circular motion. The body is in uniform circular motion means angular acceleration alpha is equal to constant here. So alpha constant. This implies we can write d omega is equal to alpha into dt, no? From this, in a small interval of time dt, the change in angular velocity is d omega. From this, in order to find the angular velocity, what we have to do? In order to find the angular velocity, what we have to do? Tell me. From d omega, in order to find omega, what we have to do? We have to do integration. Very good. We have to do integration. So you integrate on both sides. Integral of d omega is equal to integral of alpha into dt. Okay. At t is equal to 0, as we are doing with respect to angular velocity omega, we are integrating. That's why at time t is equal to 0, initial angular velocity at t is equal to 0, angular velocity is omega naught, no? So you write omega naught. After time t seconds, what is the angular velocity? Omega is equal to how much? Okay. Integral d omega is equal to how much? Integral d omega is equal to how much? Integral d omega is equal to simply omega. That's why you write omega. Limits omega naught to omega is equal to alpha is constant, you keep aside outside the integration. Integral of alpha into integral of dt. Integral of dt means t. Limits 0 to t. First you substitute upper limit here, omega. Before substituting lower limit, you put minus sign. Instead of omega, you substitute omega naught. So omega naught is equal to alpha into t. Or omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha into t. So this is here. This is the first equation of motion. First equation of motion in case of uniform circular motion, where alpha is constant. So when a body starts uniform circular motion with constant angular velocity, with initial angular velocity omega naught and constant angular velocity, angular acceleration alpha, then after time t, what is the angular velocity? Means omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. It is just like initial angular velocity is equivalent to initial velocity for a body in translatory motion. Uniform angular acceleration is equal to uniform acceleration A. Final angular velocity is equal to final velocity in translatory motion. Then V is equal to U plus A into T. That means here final angular velocity is similar to final linear velocity. Initial angular velocity is similar to initial velocity. Angular acceleration is similar to linear acceleration. Time is time. So these are the similarities or analog between translatory motion and rotatory motion. Okay. Here in translatory motion, that means whenever the body travel along the straight line, the body starts motion with initial velocity u and it travel with uniform acceleration, and after t seconds it acquires the velocity say v and it travel a distance s. Then what is the relation among them? V is equal to u plus at, no? In case of rotative motion, initial angular velocity omega naught. A body starts horizontal circular motion with initial angular velocity omega naught, travel with uniform angular acceleration alpha. After a time t, the angular displacement of the body say theta, and angular velocity acquired after time t is equal to say omega. Then what is the relation among these? Means this one. What is the relation among the means this one? If you compare these two, instead of initial velocity, initial angular velocity is there here. Instead of linear acceleration, angular acceleration is there. Instead of time, time is there. Instead of final angular velocity here, final angular velocity, linear velocity is here. That means these are the similar terms. Omega v, final angular velocity, final linear velocity. Initial angular velocity, initial velocity. Angular acceleration, linear acceleration. These are the similar terms. These are the similar terms. Okay. So what is the analogy between rotative motion and translator motion? Means in this angular velocity, in this linear velocity, both are same. In this angular acceleration, in this linear acceleration, both are same. In this angular displacement, in translator motion displacement, linear displacement, both are equal. In this way we can say. Okay. Next, angular displacement we have to find, because in t seconds the body has covered an angular displacement of theta. Now we have to find. Just we are given omega naught alpha. Then what about theta? They asked. Okay. For that, from this equation 1, from 1, omega can be written as d theta by dt, no? Because angular velocity varies with time continuously according to this formula. That's why it is the instantaneous angular velocity. Just like how it is the instantaneous velocity, it is the instantaneous angular velocity at a time t seconds. That's why this can be written as d theta by dt, which is equal to omega naught plus alpha into t. Okay, therefore d theta is equal to omega naught plus alpha t, because in this side there is no angular displacement terms. Okay, into dt. Here you see initial angular velocity remains constant, alpha is constant, only the variable is t. In a time dt seconds, this is the angular displacement dt. In a time t seconds, what is the angular displacement? So from this d theta, we have to find the total angular displacement theta. How we can find? Harishankar, stop your video sharing. Harishankar. కామన్ సెన్స్ ఉండదా? మిమ్మల్ని వీడియో స్టాప్ చేయమని చెప్తే ఎందుకు ఆన్ చేస్తున్నారు? ఓకే, So we had to do integration. So integral of dt is d theta is equal to integral of omega naught plus alpha t into dt. At a time t is equal to 0, the body lies here. That's why no angular displacement. After time t seconds, the body reaches the point here, so that angular displacement is theta. Integral d theta means theta only. You substitute the limits 0 to theta is equal to omega naught is constant. Integral omega naught into dt plus alpha t into dt. First, integral omega naught into dt means in this omega naught is constant. Integral dt means t. Okay. Plus integral alpha t dt. Alpha is constant, you keep aside. Integral t dt means t square by 2. Okay. Now we have done the integration. Then you apply the limits 0 to t. So here first upper limit you have substitute minus lower limit 0 is equal to, here first upper limit omega naught into, instead of t you substitute t only, plus half alpha into t square. Instead of t, when you substitute t, you will get t square only. When you substitute lower limits, you will get minus of 0 0, so 0. Therefore theta is equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. Okay, it is similar to, in case of circular motion, angular displacement. In case of translated motion or the motion of the body along the straight line, linear displacement, both are similar terms. So instead of s, we got this theta. Okay, remaining all are right side. Okay, here suppose the body completes one rotation. What is the angular displacement? When the body completes one rotation, what is the angular displacement? You mentioned the chat box. When the body completes one rotation, what is the total angular displacement? 360 degree means 2 pi radians. You have to say 2 pi radians. If it completes n rotations, what is the total angular displacement? If it completes n rotations, what is the total angular displacement? N into 2 pi. Very good. So here, this angular displacement can be written as 2 pi into n, where n is the number of rotations. Number of rotations we can write. Okay, so this formula is also very, very important. This is equation 2. Okay, next, here two equations of motion we got. Next we had, from this 1 and 2, we can find v square minus c square equal to 2s formula is there, no? So here also we can obtain that formula. Here you see 1 into 1, from 1 t is equal to, we can write omega minus omega naught by alpha, no? Okay, now from 2 you substitute this t value in equation 2. Suppose this is a 3. Okay, you don't put 3. Substitute t value in 2 in equation 2. Then what is the value you will get? So theta is equal to omega naught into, t means that one, omega minus omega naught by alpha. Okay, instead of t I have substituted plus half alpha into t square means omega minus omega naught by alpha whole square. This is equal to omega naught into omega minus omega naught by alpha plus alpha by 2 into omega minus omega naught whole square by alpha square. Here alpha square cancel. Okay, take LCM. Here 2 alpha is there, here alpha is there, you take LCM 2 alpha. As alpha is only there, with it 2 you multiply 2 into omega naught of omega minus omega naught plus omega minus omega naught whole square. It is theta. Do cross multiplication. 2 alpha theta is equal to, you multiply 2 omega naught omega minus 2 omega naught into omega naught means 2 omega naught square. It is a minus b whole square. Omega square plus omega naught square minus 2 omega omega naught. Here you see what is the t value there? T is equal to omega minus omega naught. Okay, square is there. Omega square plus omega naught square minus 2 omega omega naught. Okay. Okay, when you simplify them, here you will get omega square. Is there any wrong in the calculation? Is there any wrong in the calculation here? Omega naught t plus half alpha to square. Omega naught into t means omega minus omega naught by alpha plus half alpha into omega minus omega naught by alpha whole square. Okay. So here omega minus omega naught, 2 omega naught omega minus 2 omega naught square plus omega square plus omega naught square minus 2 omega omega naught. Okay. So if you simplify them, then you see plus 2 omega naught omega minus 2 omega naught omega. These two cancel. Omega square minus 2 omega naught square plus omega naught square means minus omega naught square. That is equal to 2 alpha theta. Therefore, omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha theta. We can write now. Of course, theta is equal to, since theta is equal to 2 pi n, we can write 2 pi n also. 2 alpha into 2 pi n. Already in translated motion, we are having v square minus u square is equal to 2as. The similar terms when you write here, then it becomes omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha theta. Okay. So this is the another equation of motion. Same type of equations are there in translated motion also. Okay, that is correct only. Here same type of equations we got in circular motion also. Okay. Now we will write all these formulas at a place. I will erase this one. I will write all the formulas at a place. I will erase this one. Analogy or similarities. Similarities between translatory motion and circular motion or rotating motion, whatever it may be, circular motion, or analogy between translatory motion and rotating motion. Okay, first here translatory motion, that means the body move along the straight line path. Such motion is called translatory motion. Here rotating motion or circular motion. Okay, in translatory motion, first one, linear velocity, or in translatory motion, initial velocity is generally represented with u. Initial velocity u, initial angular velocity omega naught. Both are similar. In this final velocity, here final angular velocity, both are same. In this linear acceleration a, in this angular acceleration alpha, both are similar. Okay, fourth one, in this linear displacement, in this angular displacement, both are same. That angular displacement is equal to 2 pi n, where n is the number of rotations. Okay, next, in this force F, here, in order to change the translated motion of a body, we need the force. Translated motion marchadam ante when a body travel along a straight line with certain velocity, in order to change its velocity, how the force is required. Similarly, when a body move along the circular path, to change the angular velocity of a body, the torque is required. That's why in translated motion force and in rotating motion or circular motion, the torque, both are similar terms. Yeah, derivations are very, very important. Derivations, integrations are very, very important to do the problems, this type of problems. Okay, right. So in translated motion force, in rotate circular motion, torque is required. Because of force, the body cannot rotate. Because of force alone, we cannot change the rotative motion of a body. We cannot change the angular velocity of a body because of force alone. But with the help of the torque, we can change the angular velocity of a body. That's why in rotative motion, torque is required. In translated motion, force is required. Okay, force, and here it is torque. Next, equations of motion. Here in translated motion, V is equal to U plus AT. Already we know. It is the case whenever linear acceleration is constant. Here, whenever angular acceleration is constant, then tell me, what is the equation of the similar equation of motion in the circular motion? Instead of final velocity, here final angular velocity omega we have to write. That is equal to initial velocity means here initial angular velocity omega naught plus linear acceleration means angular acceleration alpha into time t. Already we derived this formula no previously. We derived the same formula. Okay. Torque is represented with tau, symbol tau, not t, tau. Okay. Next. Here linear displacement is equal to ut plus half at square. The similar terms, the angular displacement theta is equal to, how we can write, tell me? Angular displacement theta is equal to linear displacement and angular displacement both are same. That is equal to u means initial angular velocity omega naught into t plus half. A means here alpha. T square is t square. That's all. Next, eighth one. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. Tell me the similar equation. You tell me here. Omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha into linear displacement means angular displacement. So V square minus u square is equal to, sorry, omega square minus omega naught square. Omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 into A means alpha into S means theta. Of course, theta can be written as 2 pi n. Okay. Similarly, ninth one. Displacement of a body in nth second is equal to u plus a into n minus half. Similarly, the angular displacement of a body in nth second is equal to u means here omega naught plus a means alpha, of course, into n minus half. Next, when the body travels with uniform acceleration, what is the formula for average velocity? A body starts motion with initial velocity u. A body starts motion with initial velocity u, uniform acceleration a. After time t seconds, if it acquires the velocity v, what is the average velocity of a body? V minus u by 2. I asked the average velocity of a body. V plus u by 2. When the body starts motion with initial velocity u and travel with uniform acceleration a, uniform acceleration acquires the velocity v after some time, then what is the average velocity of the body during this motion? V plus u by 2. That is the answer. Okay. So here also, that means in this case, whenever the body travels with uniform acceleration, the average velocity of the body is equal to final velocity plus initial velocity by 2. Here also we can write average angular velocity is equal to final angular velocity plus initial angular velocity by 2. It is the case whenever angular acceleration is constant. Here it is the case whenever linear acceleration is equal to constant. Okay, so these are the various related formulas. Even you know these formulas, we can write the equations of motion in circular motion. We can write. Okay, so this is very, very important. These are the very, very important formulas. These are very, very important formulas. Okay. So already you know all these formulas. So we can write the similar terms when you write in these equations, then those becomes equations of motion in that circular motion. Okay. Actually, one more formula is also there. Mass here in this circular motion, moment of inertia term is there. Of course, that is not in circular motion syllabus. In rotative motion, that point is there. At that time, I will explain that one also. Okay. Yeah, I will say now the note points. So based on these problems are there. Okay, next, centripetal force. Just centripetal force is simple concept only. After that, I will explain different note points. They covered the problems also. Next is heading centripetal force. It is also called as the normal force, also called as the radial force, because this is along the direction of the radius vector, opposite to the direction of the radius vector. That's why it is called radial force. Okay. Now, already we know centripetal acceleration is equal to centripetal force is equal to mass of the body into centripetal acceleration. That means whenever the body travel along the circular path, a body having mass m, travel along the circular path with certain angular velocity or linear velocity. Suppose linear velocity is along tangential direction, say v. Centripetal acceleration is towards center. Okay, then what is the force acts on the particle towards center? The force acts on the particle towards center is called centripetal force. So centripetal force Fc. Centripetal force Fc is equal to, according to Newton's second law of motion, mass into centripetal acceleration. So Fc is equal to mass m into centripetal acceleration is equal to, already we know centripetal acceleration is equal to v square by r. We can write radius of the circular path is say r. Okay, r. V omega we can write r. We can also write r omega square, no? So m into AC means we can write v square by r. M into AC means v omega we can write, or m into r omega square we can write. All these are the formulas for centripetal acceleration. Right. Okay, this is the formula for centripetal. These are the formulas for centripetal force acts on a body. Centripetal means that is the force acts on the body towards center. Centripetal force means it is a force acts on the particle towards the center. Towards center. Okay. Okay. Jack Sparrow, you know the English, no? Why are you writing Telugu in English? Why you are using English language? You know that English, no, properly? You are familiar with English compared with me, because you are from by birth you are studying in English only. Okay. No need to download Disha app. Okay. Right. So this is the formula for centripetal force. Here you see, what is the work done by centripetal force on the body? Tell me. What is the work done by centripetal force on the body? వీడియో షేరింగ్ కనిపించిందంటే మిమ్మల్ని రిమూవ్ చేస్తాను నా క్లాస్లో, ఇప్పుడే చెప్తున్నా. ఎన్నిసార్లు చెప్పాలన్నా? Okay, what is the work done by the centripetal force on a body? At any instant, the displacement of the body is along tangential direction. That means here the angle between displacement of the body and centripetal force, they are acting perpendicular to each other. Then what is the work done by centripetal force on the body? What is the work done by centripetal force on the body? Zero. That means if the work done by centripetal force on the body is zero, no change in the velocity of the body, no change in the speed of the body. That means throughout the motion, when the body travel along the circular path, by any force which acts on the particle perpendicular to their direction of motion, as no work is done, there is no change in the speed of the body due to this force. But what is the role of the centripetal force? The centripetal force causes only the change in direction of motion of the body. Change in direction of motion of the body. Okay, that's why centripetal acceleration or centripetal force, these are the causes of the body to change its direction of motion only. Because of this, the velocity of the speed of the body does not change. Because of this, the speed of the body does not change. Only direction of motion will change. Therefore, centripetal force changes the direction of motion of the body alone. Direction of motion of Okay, all of you stop your video sharing. Because of power cut, there was some interruption to our class. Okay. So because of power cut, there was some interruption. Right, come back to the point. Here, centripetal force acts on the particle towards the center. That is perpendicular to the direction of motion of the particle at that instant. Hence, no work is done by centripetal force on the body according to the dot product of the two vectors. Okay, that's why because of the centripetal force, the speed of the body the speed of the body does not change, but because of this force, the direction of motion of the particle alone changes. So centripetal force changes the direction of motion of the body alone. Okay, so this is the formula for centripetal force. Some examples we have to discuss. We know in case of any atom, electrons revolves around the nucleus in various orbits. No, electrons revolves around the nucleus in various orbits. No, so here suppose you see, suppose this is the nucleus. It is the nucleus. The electron revolves around the nucleus in a various. Okay, suppose here it is the nucleus. What is the charge of the nucleus? Anybody else? Charge of the nucleus. Anybody else? You tell me. What is the charge of the nucleus? Charge of the nucleus. Is the nucleus is having no charge? How many protons are there in the nucleus? Yeah, very good, Surya. Charge of the nucleus is positive. Okay. In case of any nucleus, for which atom that nucleus belongs, suppose the atomic number of the atom in which that nucleus is there is a Z, then the nucleus consists of Z number of protons, as you are having in chemistry also. The nucleus consists of Z number of protons. Charge of each proton is a small e. E is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Okay, so charge of the proton, each proton is a Ze. Then the Z number of protons are there inside the nucleus. That's why total charge of the nucleus is equal to Ze. That is a Q1. Here, electron revolves around the nucleus. No, charge of the electron is minus E. That means minus 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 is the charge of the electron. Suppose this electron makes revolutions around the nucleus in this orbit of radius a small r. Here, at any instant, at any instant of time here, the direction of motion of the electron is along the tangential direction. Okay, whereas here we see in between the electron and nucleus is having positive charge, electron is having negative charge. That's why there is attraction force. No, the nucleus attracts the electron towards nucleus. So that provides this force of attraction between the nucleus and electron. That is called electrostatic force of attraction. That electrostatic force of attraction acts on the nucleus, acts on the electron towards the nucleus. That's why this electrostatic force of attraction provides the necessary centripetal force for the electron to travel along the circular path around the nucleus. Without centripetal force, no body can travel along the circular path. Without centripetal force, no body can travel along the circular path. Okay, because in order to move the particle along the circular path, the direction of motion changes from instant to instant. No, in order to change the direction of motion alone, definitely some force acts on the particle perpendicular to its direction of motion. Then only the direction of motion will change and the body travel along the circular path. Okay, that's why here electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and electron provides the necessary centripetal force for the electron to travel along the circular path. That's why this electrostatic force of attraction Fe provides the necessary centripetal force Fc. That's why here electrostatic force of attraction is equal to centripetal force. What is the electrostatic force of attraction? Can anybody say? There are two charges Q1, Q2 separated by distance r. Then what is the force between them? Anybody else? Coulomb's inverse square law, already you know in 10th standard. if there are two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance R, then what is the force between them? Yeah, force between them is electrostatic force. What is the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. No. Here also the electrostatic force between charge of nucleus and electron is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into charge of the electron, charge of the nucleus into charge of the electron by distance square means R square. Distance between these two means radius of the orbit, that is equal to centripetal force. Centripetal force means we can write mv square by R. No. Suppose the speed of the electron in this orbit is v, then mv square by R we can write. Okay, R we can write mv square by R we can write mv omega, R we can write mr omega square also. So based on the given information we can write like this. Okay, here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 means charge of the nucleus, that is Ze. Q2 means naught minus E. Actually, because of minus E only, we have considered the attraction force acts on the electron towards the nucleus. Because here Ze into minus E we have to write. Minus of something you will get. That minus of something represents attraction force acts on the electron towards the nucleus. ఇక్కడ ఇది నెగిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ కాబట్టి అట్రాక్షన్ ఫోర్స్ ఉంటుందని చెప్పి డైరెక్షన్ ఇటువైపు తీసుకున్నాం. మళ్ళీ మీరు మైనస్ అని రాయకూడదు, ఇంటూ ఈ అని రాసింది సరిపోతుంది. బై ఆర్ స్క్వేర్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎంవి స్క్వేర్ బై ఆర్ we can write like this. What is the speed of the electron in this orbit? Means we can calculate. So based on this concept only, I think in Bohr atom model in your chemistry, Bohr postulates are there, no, first, second, third postulate. Every electron revolves around the nucleus in various orbits. Okay, so in that, by that Bohr's postulates, you derived the radius of the nth orbit, speed of the electron in the nth orbit, etc. Everything is based on this formula only we got. Okay, right. So this is the one example. Next, so related to centripetal force, so of course we can discuss these concepts in the note points, or note 1 is a not example, note 1. Next, note 2. Suppose there is a circular disc. Here it is the circular disc. It is the circular disc. It is the axis of rotation. The circular disc is rotating with angular velocity omega. I think in friction I said this concept. The angular velocity with which the circular disc rotates about its natural axis is omega. Okay, now one body or one particle, one body is kept on the horizontal circular disc at a distance smaller from the center of the circular disc, or from the axis of rotation of the circular disc, a body of mass m is kept at a distance smaller. The coefficient of friction between body and this horizontal circular disc is a mu. Okay, whenever the disc is rotating like this, along this disc, the body also rotates along the circular path of radius equal to the distance of the body from the axis of rotation. So ఇక్కడ ఈ బాడీ యాక్సిస్ ఆఫ్ రొటేషన్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉందో ఆ డిస్టెన్స్ రేడియస్ గా తీసుకుని ఈ బాడీ కూడా సర్క్యులర్ పాత్ లో రొటేట్ అవుతుంది. Whenever the body rotates in the circular path, here we see, because of centrifugal force, already you know, centripetal force already you know. Whenever you sit in the body moving along the circular path, then you can experience that because of inertia property, some force seems to be acting on this body away from the center. Away from the center means in this direction. That is called centrifugal force. That is called centrifugal force. That's why this body experiences centrifugal force in this direction. FC. FC means centrifugal. Yes, CF means centrifugal. Centrifugal force. When the body travels along the circular path, the body experiences a force, seems to be experiencing a force away from the axis of rotation. That is called the centrifugal force. So here, whenever the body travels along the circular path like this, along with the disc, then the body seems to be experiencing a force away from the axis of rotation. That is centrifugal force. So centrifugal force, FCF, centrifugal force, that is equal to same as centripetal force. That means mv square by r we can write, mr omega square we can write, or mv omega we can write. Okay, that is acting on the body away from this axis of rotation. Because of the centrifugal force, the body would be traveled away from the axis of rotation, no? But it is not happening, because whenever the body try to slips off on the disc because of the centrifugal force, at the same time the friction exists between these two, acts on the body opposite this force, that means towards center. That is the friction force. Okay, here that friction force acting on the body towards the center. Here, as because of this force, as the body does not slide, suppose the limiting friction between the body and the disc is equal to say FL. Okay, whenever the centrifugal force is equal to FL or less than FL, then the body does not slide. Whenever centrifugal force greater than FL, then the body slips off from the disc. So what is the condition for the body to travel along the circular path on the disc? So therefore, for body to travel or to describe the circular path, to describe the circular motion without slipping, then the condition is, you see, for the body not to slip, the centrifugal force acts on the body must be less than or equal to limiting friction. Is it condition or not? You tell me. ఈ బాడీ స్లిప్ కాకుండా ఉండాలి అంటే ఫ్రిక్షన్ ఫోర్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి దీనికంటే, లేదు ఈక్వల్ గానే ఉండొచ్చు. ఈక్వల్ గా ఉంటే రెడీ టు స్లిప్ బట్ నాట్ స్లిప్స్. కాబట్టి ఫర్ ద బాడీ నాట్ టు స్లిప్స్ ఆఫ్, ద కండిషన్ ఇస్ దిస్ సెంట్రిఫ్యూగల్ ఫోర్స్ మస్ట్ బి లెస్ దాన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్ టు లిమిటింగ్ ఫ్రిక్షన్. Centrifugal force means, suppose the angular velocity of this body say omega, then we can write mr omega square, no? Mr omega square, where r is the distance of the body from this axis of rotation, or the radius of the circular path in which the body travel. Okay, less than or equal to. What about the limiting friction here? As it is a horizontal disc, the weight mg acts vertically down direction and normal action acts upward direction. That's why limiting friction means coefficient of static friction mu(s) into normal reaction is equal to mg. We can write n actually. Here n is equal to mg. That's why mr omega square less than or equal to mu(s) into normal reaction mg. So mm cancel. Okay. Therefore, r omega square less than or equal to mu(s) into z. What about omega value? What about omega value? So from this omega square less than or equal to mu(s)g by r, no? Or omega less than or equal to square root of mu(s)g by r. It is the condition for angular velocity of a body or angular velocity of the disc with which it is rotating, so that the block kept over the surface of the disc cannot slips. Okay, this is the condition. So what is the maximum angular velocity with which the disc can be rotated so that the block does not slips? What is the maximum angular velocity? What is the maximum angular velocity with which the disc can be rotated? What is the maximum angular velocity with which the disc can be rotated so that the block does not slips? What is the condition? Yeah, is equal to we have to take. Maximum means is equal to, minimum means unlimited. So omega less than or equal to this one means when you take equal, that is the maximum value, or less than that value. Okay, maximum I am asking. That's why omega max is equal to square root of mu(s)g by r, where mu(s) is the coefficient of static friction. This is the condition and this is the limit. That means maximum value. Okay, so this is one important formula. Okay, next. One more concept, one more note point, third one. Suppose there is a conical funnel. There is a conical funnel. All of you listen carefully. You concentrate on this. You concentrate on this board only. Conical funnel. You see the conical funnel. Which point you did not understand? Somebody else, I did not understand the node point. Okay, I will unmute you. Where you could not understand, you ask me, I will explain. Vamshi, I will unmute you, tell me where you could not understand. Vamshi Krishna, okay.
Hello, sir.
You asked me where you could not understand.
Sir, I don't understand for the body to describe that thing.
Huh?
I don't understand the second next sentence you said. For the body to describe the circular motion, what is that? I don't understand.
For the body, when the body is kept on the disk here and you make the body to rotate, you make the
Yes,
disk
sir.
rotate like this, then there is a possibility to slip the block from the disk, no?
Yes, sir.
Circular disk means just on the circular disk you keep a body and you rotate the circular disk. There is a possibility to slip off the body kept over the circular disk, no?
Yes, sir.
Why means whenever the body is kept on the disk and when disk is made to rotate, then the body experiences centrifugal force away from the axis of rotation or away from the center of the disk in this direction. Because of the centrifugal force, there is a possibility to slip the block from the disk. But while the bodies try to slip in this direction, at the same time, the friction between the block and the disk that opposes the motion of the block or slipping of the block in this direction. So frictional force acts opposite to this applied force. That means in this direction.
Okay, sir.
What is the condition? Whenever the centrifugal force greater than FL, definitely the body slips off. For the body not to slip, the condition is the centrifugal force must be less than or equal to limiting friction.
Okay.
Right, Nana. Okay, right. So another note point, conical funnel. Suppose here there is a conical funnel. There is a conical funnel like this. There is a conical funnel and it is the vertex of the funnel. It is the vertex of the funnel. It is the axis of the conical funnel. Okay. Generally, ice cream cups are there, no? Ice cream cups are like this only. Of course, somebody uses different cups, this type of cups for different purposes. We doesn't know. Somebody may know, of course. Nikhil Teja, what is your doubt? Nikhil Teja. Nikhil Teja, what is your doubt? You speak with me. Nikhil Teja. Nikhil Teja, you speak with me.
Sir, I not ask a doubt, sir.
But here you asked no. Nikhil Teja, unmute, sir. You already
Sir.
unmute now.
Yes, not me, sir. ఇందాక మీరు వీడియో సరిగ్గా రాలేదు సార్, అప్పుడు టైప్ చేశాను సార్.
సరే సరే, ఓకే, రైట్. K. Rutvik. K. Rutvik. Audio is not clear, I think. Is audio is clear to you or not? Everybody, you respond. Both are okay, Nana. Rutvik, you see you check your system. Okay. Right, okay, stop chatting. Okay, Nana, stop chatting. Okay, I don't write below this line. Okay, up to this is the end. I don't want to write below this point. Okay, right. Again, power cut. Due to power cut, there may be interruption here in the video. Again, okay. I'll bet it's enough. Hello, are you hearing my voice? Are you hearing my voice? Okay, okay. There is a power cut. Of course, it is now running with inverter and Zio. Okay, right. I try to reduce my teaching speed. Okay, conical funnel. You see, here there is a conical funnel. Ice cream cup is also there like this only, no? Ice cream cone, ice cream cup is like this only, no? Okay, here in this conical funnel, you keep a body. In the conical funnel, you keep a body and you rotate the conical funnel like this with certain angular velocity. You move the conical funnel like this. Then the body kept in the conical funnel rotates like this, no? Rotates like this. And if you stop rotation, then the body rotating in the conical funnel like this, as long as the time lapses, the rotation of the body in the conical funnel gradually, the radius of the circular path of the body gradually decreases and it falls finally, isn't it? So that is the case I am telling. For the body to make rotations in the horizontal circular path in the conical funnel without falling, what is the condition we want to discuss? Are you followed the point here? Are you followed the question what I am going to explain? Okay, right. You see, suppose the body is made to rotate in this at this position in the horizontal circular path in the conical funnel like this. Here the height of the body from the vertex of the cone, at which it is made to rotate in horizontal circular path in a conical funnel, that is a small h. Suppose at this time the body is made to rotate with angular velocity, say omega. Then this body experiences centrifugal force. Here the radius of the circular path is a small r. Okay, then mr omega square centrifugal force acts on the body away from the center. This is the center for the circular path. Okay, because of this centrifugal force, the body try to move outwards, but at the same time, the inclined surface of the conical funnel is there, no? That inclined surface of the conical funnel exert the reaction force on the body. In order to know the direction of the reaction force here, at this point of contact, you draw the tangent. So this is the tangent. You draw the normal at this point of contact to the tangent. This is the normal reaction. Normal reaction acts on the body in this direction. Suppose the semi-vertex angle of the conical funnel is say theta. If it is theta, this is 90 minus theta. Then this is theta, no? This is theta, no? Now you resolve this normal reaction to components. One component in this direction, that is n cos theta, and the another component is in this direction, that is n sin theta. Okay, weight of the body acts vertically downwards direction. Weight of the body acts vertically downwards direction. For this body not to slips off, not to comes down, not to rises, to move along the same horizontal circular path at the same height continuously without falling or without rising. What is the condition? For the body not to fall, definitely the vertical component of normal reaction balances the weight. That's why from this diagram, n sin theta, you see, n sin theta is equal to weight mg, no? Next, in this direction, normal reaction component is n cos theta, that is equal to mr omega square. So n cos theta is equal to mr omega square, we can write. Okay, these are the conditions for the body not to rise or not to fall. Because whenever the body not to rise, not to fall means along any direction net force is zero, no? That's why along this direction net force is 0 means mg is equal to n sin theta. Along this horizontal direction, the body neither move in this direction or move in this direction. That's why these two forces are also balanced. Now divide these two. Then tan theta is equal to, this is a 1, this is a equation 2. 1 by 2 I did. Tan n sin theta by n cos theta, that is equal to mg by mr omega square. So m cancel. Okay, therefore tan theta is equal to z by r omega square. But from the diagram, what is the tan theta value? You see, here this height is h, this is r. Tan theta is equal to opposite means r by height, adjacent means h, no? So this can be written as r by h. This can be written as r by h. Tan theta is equal to r by h, we can write now r by h. Okay, therefore is it correct? Tan theta is equal to g by r omega square. Okay, g by r omega square. But from the diagram, tan theta is equal to r by h. Okay, r by h. Now from this we had to find the speed. Speed with angular velocity means this is only, from this you see omega square, you do cross multiplication. Then omega square is equal to, we can write gh by r square, no? Omega square is equal to gh by r square. R omega is equal to root gh by r. It is the angular velocity with which the particle can be rotated, so that the particle neither rises nor falls in the from the horizontal circular path. What is the speed of the particle? We know if angular velocity of the rotating particle is omega and radius of the circular path is r, then speed is equal to, you see, v is equal to r omega, that is equal to r into omega means root gh only, no? Therefore the speed with which the particle is to be rotated, so that the particle neither rises upwards nor falls downwards in the conical funnel, and move with constant speed in the same horizontal plane at a height h, the speed of the particle must be root gh. That is the formula, root gh. Okay, right, this is the formula. It is very, very important one. It is very, very important one. Okay, next, one more example. Fourth one. Suppose there is a string, just you forget the circles, just you imagine there is a rope. It is the rope. There is a rope. Okay, having some length. Here at the one end of the rope, one particle having mass m1 is fixed. At the middle means maybe exactly at the midpoint of the length of the rope, or at certain distance from the rope, but in between these two, in between the two ends, need not be exactly at the center, one more body is fixed having mass m2. These two bodies are made to rotate. Here you see, suppose this is the rope. At one end one body is fixed, at the middle another body is fixed, and the other end is held with the hand, and the two bodies are made to rotate in horizontal plane like this. It is possible, no? It is possible, no? So you make the bodies to rotate in horizontal plane like this. Okay, whenever these two bodies makes rotations in horizontal plane with constant angular velocity omega in, say, anti-clockwise direction, then what is the tension in the string here? What is the tension in the string here? The tension between the two bodies is a tension in the string between the two bodies is T1. Tension in the string between the fixed this end and the second body is a T2. What is the ratio between these two? T1, T2. That is a question mark. T2 by T1 is equal to question mark. This is the case. Okay, now whenever the two bodies are made to rotate in a horizontal plane in circular paths, suppose the distance of this second, the length of the rope is say R1. The length of the rope is say R1. Then when these bodies are made to rotate, then this body of mass M1 rotates along the circular path equal to the radius of the circular path equal to length of the rope only, no? That is say R1. Suppose if it is equal to L, if as the second body is also making rotations here, the distance of the second body from the axis of rotation or from the fixed point about which the two bodies are made to rotate is say R2. Suppose if it is R1 is equal to L, and if it is exactly the midpoint, then R2 is equal to L by 2 we can write. Okay. Now here the two bodies makes rotations in the circular path in horizontal plane. Okay. Now to find the tension here, what are the forces acts on this body and this body? We have to find first. Here you see, whenever this body makes rotations here, the centrifugal force acts on the body away from the center, no? Because it is the center. Centrifugal force acts on the body away from the center means in this direction, which is equal to M1 into radius of the circular path R1 into omega square. Okay. As the two bodies are fixed to the same rope, the two bodies rotates with the same angular velocity. That's why for this also angular velocity is same. Then what is the centrifugal force acts on the second body? Whenever it is making rotations, then the centrifugal force acts on this body is equal to M2 R2 into omega square. M2 R2 into omega square. Now you see, now tension T2 is equal to, okay, first T1 you write, tension T1 is equal to, first tension T1 means here, tension T1 is equal to, you see, on this body along this direction or along horizontal direction, there are two forces acts. One M1 R1 omega square acts in this direction, and in this direction tension they act. Even then there is no motion in the body along this direction or along this direction. It rotates with the constant angular velocity along this path without moving towards center or away from the center. That's why these two forces are balanced along this direction. No? That's why T1 is equal to M1 R1 omega square. Next, what about T2? What about T2? Here you see, on this body, if this is the tension, the same tension acts on the body because there is a rope joined the two bodies. If tension acts on the body is away from this first body M1 in this direction, the same tension acts on the second body away from the body means in this direction, no? T1. So here T1 acts on the second body away from the body means away from the center. T1 acts for the second body. For the second body, T1 acts away from the center means in this direction. Okay, now on the second body, T1 acts away from the body means in this direction, and centrifugal force M2 R2 omega square also acts on the body away from the center. So totally on the second body, T1 and M2 R2 omega square acts on the body away from the center in this direction. So total force acts on the second body away from the center is equal to M2 R2 omega square plus T2. This is the force pulls the body away from the center in this direction. But at the same time, this thing pulls the body towards the center. Because of that, as there is no motion in the second body along this direction, towards right or towards left, these two forces, this and this, will be balanced. That's why these are balanced. Then T1 means M1 R1 omega square plus T2, this M2 R2, M2 into this is R2, no? This is R2, M2 R2, M2 R2 omega square. This is T2. Okay, ratio they asked. Therefore, T2 by T1 is equal to this by this. Omega square can be taken common and we can cancel them. No? Then remaining is M1 R1 plus M2 R2 by M1 R1. This is the ratio between the tensions of the two. Since omega square is cancelled for both. Okay, now if there is a rope of length L, that is R1 is equal to L, no? R1 is equal to L. and this body is kept exactly at the midpoint of the rope, then R2 is equal to L by 2. Then what about T2 by T1? T2 by T1 is equal to M1 into R1. R1 means L. R1 means L. Okay, plus M2 means M2 into R2 means L by 2 whole by M1 means M1 only. R1 means L. Okay, then we can here L can be cancelled and remaining is M1 plus M2 by 2 whole by M1. M1 plus M2 by 2 whole by M1. That is the ratio between the tensions. Okay. So in this way we can find this problem. Okay, next one more example. Fifth one, death well. Death well. Already in friction, I think I said. In friction, I said the death well. In friction, death well concept I said. Here there is a cylindrical chamber is there. Cylindrical chamber is made to rotate with angular velocity omega. With angular velocity omega. The radius of the death well is equal to say capital R. Okay, while it is rotating here, one block or one body. One block or one body. I think death well means already in exhibitions in our Vijayawada PW grounds. In exhibitions, this type of death wells are there. The motorcyclist by using cars, they move even at certain height in certain height along the circular path without falling. That is the concept here. Okay. So here, whenever the death well is made to rotate, or this body is making rotations in the death well with angular velocity say omega, then this body experiences centrifugal force m into radius of the circular path is equal to radius of the death well only, no? M mass of this body m into radius of the circular path r into angular velocity square. So as the body experiences the centrifugal force away from the center here, because of that the body, even then the body does not break the vertical wall of the death well and it comes out. Okay, but that means at the same time the normal reaction by this wall, the normal reaction acts on the body in this direction. Okay, next, weight of the body mg acts vertically downwards direction. But here this is also equal to mv square by r, also we can write mv square by radius of the circular path r. Okay, next, because of weight the block is pulled downwards, but at the same time between the body and this vertical wall there is a friction. That friction acts on the body upwards. Suppose the limiting friction is say FL. Limiting friction is FL. What is the condition for the block or body not to fall? What is the condition for the body not to fall? That means definitely the weight of frictional force must be greater than or equal to weight, or weight less than or equal to limiting friction. Then only the body cannot fall. That is the condition for the body not to slip. Okay, FL means mu s into normal reaction greater than or equal to m into z. Mu s into, what is the normal reaction here? Here you see along this horizontal direction, normal reaction balances the centrifugal force, no? mv square by r, no? Or we can write normal reaction. From which frame of reference I have written this formula? Tell me. From which frame of reference I have noted these formulas? You tell me. From which frame of reference I have noted these formulas? From inertial frame or non-inertial frame? Ante by standing on the ground, am I noted these points, or by standing on the rotating this death well, I have noted these points? You tell me. No, by standing on this rotating death well, because every rotating body, every merry-go-round is the non-inertial frame. Non-inertial frame నుంచి అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినప్పుడేగా సెంట్రిఫికల్ ఫోర్స్ ఇక్కడ పనిచేసినట్టుగా కనిపించేది. This cannot be seen because it is not the real force, can be experienced. Centrifugal force రాసామంటే from non-inertial frame only we have written the formulas. That is very, very important. అదే నాన్ ఇన్షియల్ ఫ్రేమ్ నుంచి రాయలేదనుకోండి, ఫ్రమ్ ది గ్రౌండ్ అనుకోండి, దెన్ నో డౌట్ హియర్ యు సీ the normal reaction acts on the body in this direction. This provides the necessary centripetal force అని చెప్పేవాళ్ళం మనం. ఇది సర్క్యులర్ పాత్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేయాలంటే this surface pushes the body towards center. That is the normal reaction. This normal reaction provides the necessary centripetal force. Therefore n is equal to mv square by r అని రాసేవాళ్ళం. But we are not writing like that because already I have noted the centrifugal force also. So this is the thing, this is the situation observed from non-inertial frame. Okay. So you substitute n means mv square by r. Of course, we can write mr omega square also. mv square by r greater than or equal to mg. M cancel. Okay. So v square greater than or equal to g by gr by mu s. Or v is equal to v greater than or equal to root gr by mu s. It is the condition for speed of the body with which it has to travel in the death well so that the body does not fall. What is the minimum speed with which the body can travel in the death well? That is equal to minimum means r, minimum means v minimum. For minimum velocity means v is equal to, we have to take minimum is equal to rho to gr by mu s. So already in exhibitions you might have observed in the death well, whenever by means of a car or motorcyclist, when travel at certain height in the horizontal circular path, immediately whenever the vehicle is started, immediately he cannot go to that height. First he makes rotations on the ground. He makes some rotations on the ground, and whenever he acquires the velocity which follows this condition, then only he rises in the death well and he makes rotations in the horizontal plane at certain height. అంతేగాని వెలాసిటీని ఎక్వైర్ చేయకుండా డైరెక్ట్ గా ఈ హైట్ కి వెళ్ళిపోయాడు అనుకోండి, ఇమీడియట్లీ ఫాలో అయిపోతాడు. సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఎక్వైరింగ్ దిస్ వెలాసిటీ విచ్ ఫాలో దిస్ కండిషన్, దెన్ ఓన్లీ హీ రీచెస్ సర్టన్ హైట్. అంటే అతను కూడా ఈ కండిషన్ అప్లై చేస్తున్నాడు అక్కడ, ఈవెన్ దో హీ ఈస్ అన్ఎడ్యుకేటెడ్. మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ పీపుల్ who participated in the rides, most of the people are uneducated, but by experience they gain this knowledge. Okay. Of course, even we are educated, we are unable to ride that vehicle, even though we know the conditions. Okay, right. How do we know the coefficient of friction will be given by them. Coefficient of friction will be given by them. Suppose if they ask to find coefficient of friction, remaining will be given. The maximum speed with which the body can rotate is fixed. Then what should be the coefficient of static friction? They ask like that. Okay. Here, not his coefficient of friction. The vehicle is rotating in the vehicle is rotating on the death well. So in between the tires of the vehicle and the surface of the death well, the coefficient of friction is fixed. No, that does not change. Varshit Reddy. Here, the tires of the vehicle are in contact with the death well. So friction force between the tires and this death well, surface of the inner walls of the death well, that is the main thing here. Who is riding? You may ride, myself may ride. That is not the criteria here. In between the tires and the surface of the death well, coefficient of static friction is fixed for the given tires. Okay, right. One more example I want to discuss. Shall we do some problems now? For 15 minutes, time is 20 minutes, 18 minutes more. Shall we do some problems? Okay. We do some problems now.